My dear friend, have you ever felt that anxiety is like a shadow that never lets you go? A message left unanswered, a task left undone, or even just a vague thought about the future can weigh heavy on your chest, stealing your sleep through the night. We often chase peace somewhere far away, in achievements, in a journey, or in someone else. But the Buddha once taught, no one can bring you peace except yourself. So what if peace has never abandoned you, but is only covered under layers of worry, doubt, and endless what-ifs? In this podcast, I invite you to sit down, take a deep breath, and let your mind settle. Together we will walk into 8 Buddhist teachings, gems of timeless wisdom with the power to dissolve the darkness of anxiety, so you may realize peace is not something to search for, but something to return to. 1. Living in the present moment. Anxiety can only survive in the memory of the past or the imagination of the future. In the present moment, it has no ground to stand on. The Buddha once told a story. A meditator came to him, distressed, saying that his mind was never at ease, haunted by past mistakes, fearful of future failures. The Buddha asked, "Right now, are you suffering?" "No, Blessed One." "Then the suffering you carry is only painted by your mind. You are like a man carrying a heavy load on his shoulders, though no one asked you to bear it." That teaching is like a bell of awakening. Most of our anxiety is not from the present moment, but from losing ourselves in past or future. Even today this happens. Someone sits at their desk, but their mind is lost in worry about next week's meeting. Someone eats dinner with family, yet their mind is stuck on an email left unanswered. The body is here, but the mind is elsewhere, and that absence breeds anxiety. Try pausing. Place your hand on your chest. Breathe in deeply, exhale slowly. In this very moment, you are breathing. You are alive, you are safe. This is the miracle of now. The Buddha taught, the past is already gone, the future not yet arrived. Only the present moment is truly precious. So whenever your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. A single mindful breath is enough for the wave of anxiety to soften. You will see, peace has never left. It has always been here, waiting for you to return. 2. The seed of fear. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seed you plant will take root. If you plant fear, a forest of unease will grow. In the Buddha's time, there was a young man in the village who was always afraid. He feared ghosts, the dark, even the sound of wind against the roof. One night, trembling with dread, he told the Buddha, "Blessed One, why is it that the more I fear, the more real the fear becomes? Last night, I imagined a ghost at the door. My heart raced. I could not sleep." The Buddha smiled and said, "It is your own mind that created the ghost. When you water the seed of fear, it grows and binds you. But if you plant seeds of calm and mindfulness, your mind becomes a place of light, not darkness." That story is still true today. When you fear losing your job, the dread makes you tense and unclear, and sometimes leads you to the very outcome you hope to avoid. In love, fear of abandonment can make you cling or push away, creating the distance you dreaded. Fear is not fate. It is the fruit of the seed you plant. If you replace it with seeds of trust, gratitude, and compassion, the garden of your mind will blossom with peace. The Buddha taught, mind is the forerunner of all things. If one speaks or acts with an unwholesome mind, suffering follows like the wheel that follows the ox. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows like a shadow that never leaves. Ask yourself, which seeds am I watering every day? Fear or trust? A single mindful breath is a way of watering peace. And when peace is nourished, your entire inner garden changes. And 3. The power of letting go. We often mistake strength for control. We try to clutch tightly to everything: work, relationships, the future. But the tighter we grip, the more exhausted we become. In the Buddha's time, a grieving father could not let go of his son's ashes, carrying them everywhere he went. One day, he begged the Buddha to bring the boy back to life. The Buddha gently said, "Bring me a mustard seed, but it must come from a household untouched by death." The man knocked on every door in the village, but each home had lost someone: a parent, a sibling, a child. Death had touched all. At last he understood. Suffering is the common thread of life, and clinging only deepens it. He laid down his son's ashes and found peace in the Dharma. We may not carry ashes today, but we cling to jobs, expectations, relationships. Someone after a breakup might endlessly ask, "Why did they leave me?" Yet the pain is not from the breakup, but from refusal to release. Letting go is not weakness, but courage. Doing your best, then surrendering the result. Like an open palm that holds water calmly, rather than clenched fingers that spill it away. The Buddha taught, in letting go, true freedom is found. One who releases is no longer bound by suffering. Try this. Close your eyes. Think of something you're gripping too tightly. Ask yourself, if I let go, what would happen? If I trust that life has its own wisdom, would I feel lighter? When you release, you lose nothing. In fact, you regain energy, clarity, and the peace that has always been within you. 4. Trusting life. We often believe that safety comes from control, but the more we clutch, the less secure we feel. Control and trust cannot walk the same road. In the Buddha's time, a young monk worried constantly about the future: food, clothes, shelter. One day, he asked the Buddha, "Blessed One, if I give up everything, family, possessions, what will I live on? Won't I be abandoned?" The Buddha replied gently, "When a seed falls into the soil, it does not know if the earth is fertile, yet it sprouts. In the same way, one who trusts the Dharma will always be supported by wholesome conditions. Life does not abandon those who plant good seeds. Sometimes we must step into the unknown to discover the invisible hands that hold us. Today, people carry the same burden. Some check their phones every few minutes, afraid to miss an email or message. Others micromanage every detail of work, fearing failure, yet end up exhausted and less creative. Trust is not passive. It is doing your part fully, then believing life will carry the rest. The Buddha taught, one who lives with faith has a mind as clear as a spring. One without faith has a mind as parched as cracked earth. Ask yourself, am I gripping too tightly? A project? A relationship? The shape of my future? If I have done my best, can I trust life to take care of what remains? When you dare to release control, another door opens, trust. And where trust blooms, peace follows, as surely as a shadow follows the body. 5. Imagined fears. Humans suffer more than they need to. Once for real pain, and many times for imagined pain. In the Buddha's time, a group of monks once passed through a dark forest. They heard strange noises and believed it was demons. Terrified, some fled, others trembled while chanting. They rushed to the Buddha, asking for protection. The Buddha said, "Monks, fear does not come from the forest. The sounds were only wind and animals, but your minds created demons. Humans often bind themselves with ghosts that never existed." The Buddha taught, the fearful person suffers twice, once when danger comes and once when imagining it. How true this is today. How many nights have we lost sleep fearing rebuke at work, only to find the meeting ordinary? How often do we imagine loved ones will abandon us while they remain patiently by our side? Some even fear illness without any symptoms, and it is the worry itself that drains them. The mind is like a playwright, crafting tragedies that never reach the stage of reality. Try recalling a time you imagined the worst. Ask yourself, did it truly happen? Most likely not. And even if it did, it was rarely as dreadful as imagined. So when worry arises, pause, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and whisper, "This is only a thought, not reality." The weight will begin to lift. Peace is never far away. It is simply hidden under the ghosts of imagination. When you stop feeding them, peace reveals itself, gentle like the clear sky after a storm. 6. Growth begins with letting go. Anxiety works in subtle ways. It starts as a whisper, caution, hesitation, but over time, it builds invisible walls. We shy away from new challenges for fear of failure. We hold back our true voice for fear of judgment. We close our hearts for fear of hurt. Eventually, we live in a cage of our own making. The Buddha told a story of a poor young man who clung to an old clay pot as his only possession. He carried it everywhere, believing it was his treasure. One day, he heard the Buddha speak about letting go and asked, "Blessed One, I am poor. This pot is all I have. If I let it go, how will I live?" The Buddha replied, "Because you cling to that pot, your hands cannot receive greater treasures on the road. Only by setting it down can you be free to embrace something new." We are like that young man. Some hold on to jobs that no longer bring joy, fearing unemployment. Some cling to relationships long empty, fearing loneliness. Some cling to outdated images of themselves, fearing change. Yet the tighter we hold, the more we lose the chance to grow. The Buddha taught, "One who knows how to let go is the richest of all, for they are not bound." Look within. What are you holding too tightly? An old plan? A limiting belief? A wound from the past? Take a deep breath and imagine placing it down. Suddenly, you feel lighter. Space opens. That is the first step of growth, the courage to release the old so the new can arrive. Growth is not always about adding more. Sometimes it begins with less clinging, less fear, less attachment. Only then can we walk freely on life's wide and open path. 7. When we stop obstructing life's flow. Life has its own rhythm, yet we often don't trust it. We interfere, wanting to arrange, to hurry, to change, and that interference tangles everything. In the Buddha's time, a young monk worried as he went on alms round. It was raining, few people were outside, and he feared he would go hungry. So he rushed from house to house, restless and anxious, and returned empty-handed. The Buddha told him, "When your mind is filled with fear, you cannot see conditions clearly. The wise do not race against life. They let life unfold with its causes and conditions. When your heart is calm, blessings naturally arrive." And indeed, when the young monk later walked mindfully and calmly, he usually received enough food, sometimes even extra to share. The same is true today. Some parents interfere too much in their children's path, believing without control everything will collapse, yet both parent and child suffer. Some workers overplan every detail, choking out their creativity. The Buddha taught, "As the river finds its way to the sea, so the wise follow the flow of Dharma, without resistance, without force." Try this. Think of something you are clutching too tightly. Perhaps a project outcome, a long-awaited reply, or a plan yet unfinished. Breathe in, breathe out, and ask, "If I do my part, can I let life arrange the rest?" When you stop obstructing, you witness miracles, opportunities from nowhere, help arriving at the right moment, life moving with ease. It is like swimming against the current. The more you struggle, the more you tire. But when you surrender to the river, you realize it was always carrying you to the ocean. 8. Cultivating compassion. If anxiety shrinks the heart, compassion opens it wide. Compassion not only soothes others' pain, but also heals our own unrest. In the Buddha's time, a young monk often trembled with fear while meditating in the forest, frightened by the wind in the leaves, the cries of animals. He asked the Buddha for help. The Buddha taught him to sit and radiate loving kindness to all beings. May all beings be free from fear. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. Miraculously, when he practiced this, his fear melted away. He could sit calmly in the deep forest, as if embraced by invisible arms. Today, the same is true. When anxious, we often collapse inward asking, "What will happen to me? Will I lose?" But if we turn outward, smiling, offering kind words, lending a hand, our anxiety softens. Many who suffer from depression have found healing when volunteering, caring for those more in need. The Buddha taught, "Hatred is never overcome by hatred. Only by love is hatred overcome. This is an eternal law." And this applies within ourselves. Only love can soothe the fear inside us. You can try now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, whisper, "May I be safe. May I be at peace." On the next breath, think of someone close. "May you be well." Then widen it to all beings. May all beings be free from fear. As you practice, your heart softens, your anxiety fades, replaced by warmth and vastness. Cultivating compassion is not only a spiritual practice, It is the key to freedom from fear. For when the heart is filled with love, there is no room left for anxiety. Dear friend, anxiety does not vanish overnight. But with these 8 Buddhist teachings, you can return step by step to the peace that has always been within you. Live in the present moment. Recognize the seeds of fear. Learn the power of letting go. Trust in life's unfolding. See through imagined fears. Grow by releasing the old. Stop obstructing the natural flow. And cultivate compassion. Remember, you don't need to control the ocean. You only need to learn how to ride its waves. Right now, take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and smile. Peace has always been within you, waiting for you to notice. Namo Buddhaya.